Hello and welcome to the show. For today's autocross car build, I'm going to be trying with another front-wheel drive vehicle, the Fiat 695. Now this is one hell of a good car to drive from standard. These are perfectly balanced, incredibly fun vehicles to go racing with. The thing is, for autocross, I'm going to have to be building the car up to A-class, and front-wheel drive cars at this higher a class do tend to have problems. You're just asking so much of the front tyres. So we're going to see how this Abarth does. I think it stands a chance of going, perhaps not challenging the Lamborghini Miura and so on, but for a front-wheel drive car, I think we could be seeing, oh, we've got a double wing. Hey, we got a silly one of the crazy Forza double wings. Fantastic. But yeah, I think this could be challenging the Scirocco, I think, is our current fastest front-wheel drive car. That's kind of what we're going to be aiming for with the Abarth. Let us get it on some nice race tyres, as big a tyre widths as we can. 245s at the front. It's not too bad. 245s at the rear as well. I mean, I want as big a front tyres as possible for this, for trying to put the power down and to do most of the braking and all of the steering, etc. 245s are going to have to do. So we're going to get. I wasn't expecting much more though from this car. It is incredibly light to start with, just 2,200 pounds, and we are going to hopefully make it even lighter when we've put the race weight reduction. Admittedly, there might not be as bigger a weight reduction on this as, let's say, a normal 500 Abarth, because this is already kind of pre-upgraded. It is like a semi-race car. Well, it pretty much is a race car going on in there. The roll cage does add a little bit of weight, which hopefully we will now counter with all of this. Oh, we got it under 2,000 pounds actually. That's not bad going whatsoever. And we are almost at the top of C-class. Now, what to do with the engine? I don't really want to swap the engine. As per normal with this series, if I can get the car to the top of A-class using the standard engine, I will do. And judging by the looks, the amount of the PI has just jumped up there, I think we probably can do it with this car. It's not going to have the same power. If it does have the same power as the other cars, if we're getting 400 horsepower out of this 695, I would be rather I'd be rather concerned. We might be getting the 400 horsepower out of this vehicle, and that is a bloody scary prospect for me, trying to keep all of the fury under control and the front wheels from spinning. Yeah, we're gonna have a fair bit of power. I was hoping, because this is such a fantastically good handling car, you know, it is going to be light. I was hoping the PI would. It would not require as much power to make up the PI, but it does look like we are going to be at near enough the 400 horsepower mark, and that is a lot for a front-wheel drive car to deal with. Now, I don't really want to go. I don't want to upgrade into cooler or oil and cooling. That just adds weight. That one is too much to keep it in A-class, so we shall jump to our last kind of bits and pieces over here. Gearbox, I suspect we might go for, oh, okay, that's interesting. That's interesting. Normally it's this one that might put the car down a PI point, but apparently this one improves everything. Okay, wait, 0 to 60, 4.1. 4.1, is that slightly slower? 0 to 60, 4.16, yeah it is. 8.9, and that's 8 point, that's exactly the same there. And 168, 169. It basically makes no noticeable difference. Lowers the weight though, and lowers the PI, so bugger it. We will take that. We will put on the driveline as well. Diff is already there, and then I'm hoping, fingers crossed, this will. We've still got 2 PI to play with. I am quite surprised by all of that. Now we could. I guess we could make up a couple of horsepower. I don't know if I'm going to buy in this bloody PI then. This is a little bit of a faff. Can we? Of course, if we go for the full. We go for the full race transmission. We go up 1 PI point too many. I don't actually know if there's anything. So I've kind of got what I want really on the car. I don't really want like this sort of stuff here. I can make it to the full PI, but then we're adding a heap of weight on as well. I guess we are adding torque, etc. Yeah, I think we will go for it. I think we'll go with the intercooler to make the PI up. It will add a little bit of weight, but does add some power and some torque as well. And if the PI is going up, I think overall will be slightly advantageous. we're still under £2,000. It's still very, very like this car and still got a mighty high power-to-weight ratio. The big concern, as it always is, with a front-wheel drive vehicle, how on earth are the front tyres going to survive? Of course, to test out the 695, we have come to the Hockenheim circuit, where it will have 3 runs through the course to go as quickly as possible. Now, our current leader, the Lamborghini Miura, is likely to be unfazed by the front-wheel drive Abarth. It's 2:03.3 is a mighty, mighty quick time. Where I am curious to see where this Abarth will fit in is against the Scirocco. A 2:08.4 is the fastest time set by a front-wheel drive car, and the Scirocco R, that's down in 48th place. We're wondering if this can go quicker. I think it maybe stands a chance. I think we might have a bit too little control. I don't think the front tyres are going to be able to deal with everything this car is going to throw at them. However, I do know the chassis is very, very good, and that should help it with the weaving in and out of the gates. The one thing that I forgot about, though, was the very cold rear tyres. In that opening section, of course, the back end has not a huge amount of grip, and it's not very fun through there. How much speed can we take? Ooh, we can take a lot of speed. Now, I did turn in a little bit too soon there. In fact, we're carrying so much speed. Right. Things to remember. You carry a lot of speed in this car, a lot more than you are perhaps expecting or ready for, and it actually does turn in quite well. This is looking very, very impressive, actually, from the Fiat. The wheels, I mean, we're getting a bit of wheel spin out of these corners, but it's not too bad. Again, we've got 114 miles an hour. The brakes don't feel amazing, actually. That does surprise me a little bit. I wondered if the first, sort of coming out of that fast section where I completely missed a corner, I wondered if that was just me being a fool or what, but the brakes do not feel the most amazing at getting this stopped. Perhaps a little surprised by that one. Oh, of course, we've overrun into there. We're going to get poor. Yeah, I tried to straighten it up for the exit, didn't work. Okay, we're experimenting a little bit. Seeing as though this run was gone fairly early on, so might as well throw the car around and see what does and doesn't work. It's not going to be, oh god, not going to be as quick, as the Watson Special down that back section. That's perhaps unsurprising, let's face it. Around the hairpin we go. This is very, very good though. For a front-wheel drive car, I'm very impressed so far. It does not seem to be flummoxed too much by not in the same way that I was perhaps expecting it to be. Just got to be wary, especially off that start line with the cold rear tyres. Once they're up to temperature, this thing does change direction very, very well, and there is a good amount of grip. Four gate penalties and some dodgy driving, and yeah, still not a bad time considering all of that. I think this is going to give the Scirocco a run for its money. So it is on to the second run for the Abarth. Got to be very wary. Got to be very wary of these rear tyres in these opening few gates. Probably up until that high-speed section. Even then, I don't even know if the rear tyres are going to be warmed up, because you see what it wants to do. It just snaps around so much. Now, you can get away in a front-wheel drive car like I did there. Once it started snapping, you just floor it and the car will straighten itself out. I mean, that kind of works to an extent. All right, a little bit slower on the way in there. Made it through quickly, and that is fast. That is very fast through that section for a front-wheel drive car. Yeah, it's not quite in the 110, 112 miles an hour that we have seen from the likes of the Porsche and the Miura, etc. But for a front-wheel drive car, getting past the 100 miles an hour there is very, very good going. And again, we're quick on the exit. This is something really very, very special in terms of a front-wheel drive car. It's 118 miles an hour, and we're on the brakes once more. Very, very controlled. Now, the big thing that I've got to watch out for, wheel spin out of these slower corners. It will be very, very easy to try and get too eager on the throttle, spin the wheels and just losing time. third gear does actually seem to be a pretty good gear, though. Once we've got it in third, it is pretty much good to go. 40 miles, that section there is perhaps the sort of corners that we are going to struggle a little bit more on. Yeah, once we're in third gear, we are good to be full throttle in the Abarth. This is really very, very impressive from this car. Come on, get it around the quicker corner there. It's not quite going to be setting any speed records. 110. Oh, I've overshot. So it's not going to be setting any speed records. I was pushing that one too hard, and now we've done... Oh, it's all gone a little bit wrong towards the end of this run. However, up until that point, that was going very, very quickly. I am liking this car. I am really, really liking this vehicle as we now get it through the final section. It actually changes direction really bloody well up towards the finish line. 10 seconds of time penalties and a messed up hairpin. I think it might actually feel a little quicker than it's going, considering the time that would give it, but we shall see what I can do on this last run. So it is on to the final run for the Abarth. Can it go quicker than the Scirocco? I think if I get everything right, it might be able to, although there are things to be on the lookout for when it comes to dealing with this car. Primarily, well, this very short wheelbase probably doesn't help with the twitchiness on cold rear tyres, and that is little bits of time being lost early on, and you really can't throw the car through these gates as nicely as some other vehicles. This is another prime example here. That bags so much speed, but you can't do it with confidence in the same way. This would probably be even up there challenging like the Lamborghinis with 110 miles an hour through there if the rear tyres were warm, because that was with cold tyres and a big twitch, and it was still getting up there in terms of speed. It is mighty, mighty impressive from the Abarth, but there are bits of time being lost with that back end twitching around. The acceleration is pretty damn epic though in this car, up towards the 118 miles an hour once more for a front wheel drive car. I mean, it is flat out down that section as well. For a front wheel drive car, having the grip to do all of that with the power and so on is, I think, like nothing we've ever really seen. The Scirocco was a hell of a car, but I don't think that, admittedly it was a little while ago that we ran the Scirocco, but I'm pretty sure the Scirocco couldn't quite do that, although the Scirocco didn't quite have some of the twitchy issues that you get early on in the run with the Abarth. It's whether we lose too much time early on that we can't make up later on in the course. That is the question. Oh, I want to get to full throttle through there, but I can't quite make it. Can't quite make it work. Pillar's in a little bit of an awkward place for this hairpin, but we are around it neatly in the run up this section. I'm a little wary of understeer. While, yes, there is of course going to be some understeer from such a high-powered front-wheel drive car, honestly, the Abarth does a really rather good job. It's these sort of sections where we've got to be careful not to get too carried away with the wheel spin, with the understeer. Right up into third, and we can floor it to the line. It's not quicker. 2:10.3 from the Abarth. And I'm not sure where I'm losing the time. That is a mystery, to me at least, from those runs. That felt quick. With the Abarth, that felt very, very quick. With not just a front-wheel drive car overall, that felt like a very, very fast time. But it wasn't. It was in a 2:10. 2:10 is not too bad per se. I was expecting more though. That's where is it? Almost 2 seconds down on the fact. Yeah, it's almost 2 seconds down exactly on the Scirocco R. And that surprises me a lot because the Fiat feels incredible to drive. Now I wonder how much of it is a case that it does lose time early on in the run, especially the very opening gate. It is horrible through with its twitchiness. The second kind of section of gates is also not good, and then we come to the high speed bit. It's better, but we still have issues with the back end letting go and it being twitchy because the rear tyres aren't up to temperature. Now, how much time is lost through there? If that's 2 seconds lost on the likes of the Scirocco, that's the only place that I can really think the time is lost, because everywhere else I'm very impressed with the way that this car drives, some of the speed that I was taking through the gates. Perhaps it doesn't deploy its power quite as well as the Scirocco. There is a fair bit of wheel spin. I did the best that I could in terms of putting the power down without wasting too much of my time spinning the wheels. I was perhaps a little out of position coming through that final section, but certainly not 2 seconds worth again. I'm a little disappointed by the time in many respects with the time there, because the car itself felt great. It felt like one of the best front-wheel drive cars I've taken around this circuit. So that 210 that puts the car into 56th place is, yeah, a little bit down on honestly what I thought the car was going to be doing. It goes slower than the Cooper Works Mini, the Dodge Daytona, the Ford Deluxe Coupe. It does beat the F-Type Project 7, the Tesla Model S, the Volvo 123, and Holden Monaro. I mean, it's, you know, is okay. It's pretty good for a front-wheel drive car. It really felt a lot faster than that time, but there we go. Still a fantastic car. I highly recommend. Certainly in standard spec anyway, it is a lovely, exquisite car to drive. Even this crazy front-wheel drive A-Class car is still pretty damn good, despite it not quite being as quick as I'd hoped. Yeah, I do like it. It is an incredible, incredible racing vehicle. However, that is going to be it for this video, guys. Thank you very much for watching, and until next time, goodbye.